Please, if you are just today we are going to be talking about how we can create an online presence. We're going to be talking about how we can create an online presence, and creating an online presence is same thing as creating a web presence. Now, why do we need to create an online presence? Let's go through some. There are several methods to establish a presence on the internet. If you look at this picture very well, you see one part is black and white, and the other part actually has color. And that part is the one that is the one that have that online presence. Having an online presence gives you an edge among other persons. I hope you get. So if you have any question, please drop your question. Okay, then and I also want us to drop location where you are watching us from. Okay, so I was saying today we are going to be talking about how we can create a web presence. Um, and let me see how many of us. Okay, three of us have joined us. That's good. Thank you for joining this live. If you are just joining us, I said you should um drop your location where you are watching from and your name and where you are watching from. Let's get to know you. So drop your name and where you are watching from. Okay. So Elias, you're watching from USA, from South Africa. Then okay. Alright, I think we should just start now. No need to delay. Okay, as I said before, we're going to be talking about how we can create online presence. Now you have a business, there's something you want to do with that business. You you would want people to know about your business. You would want everybody to know about your business. Just like operating an offline business would not really give you the opportunity to reach a larger audience. So one importance of having an online presence, having a website, is not necessarily a website that you need to have for you to create that online presence. For any business at all that you are working on any business that you have, you need to have a online presence. Put that business online, let people see it. Like, one way that we could advertise our business is using social media. See, there are variety of social media that are online platforms where people connect in online communities to create and share various types of content. You have a content, you have something you want to share with people, you could use the social media. You don't necessarily need to have a website before you can start sharing. You understand? So let's look at something like Facebook. If you have, you could use your Facebook account to share things to people, share ideas, share your products. You could even sell in Facebook. See, Facebook is a web application that you can start using and you'll be gaining from it. You can make money from it instead of just using it to chat and all that. Now, you creating accounts in Facebook or any other social media platform is you creating that online presence, like leaving your digital footprint. You understand? If your business is not online, you will not be able to reach a lot of persons. Another one, and the one that we are more particular about, is the website. We want to create an online presence. We want to use websites. In this cohort, we are talking about how we can create websites and what we can use our website for. So, why do we want to create a website? Who needs a website? I had this opportunity to talk about what I do in a fellowship. So they were like, okay, tell us who need a website. How would you know you need a website? Now, literally everybody who owns a business needs a website. If you own a business, you need a website. Because you need to reach a larger demographic. There are some persons that the kind of business that they own, they need younger persons. Their demography deals with young people that are young, and those people, they are mostly on their phones. So you would need a website to communicate to them. You need an online platform that you can use to communicate to them. So today I'm going to quickly run through the various processes that are involved in creating a website, which is our web presence that we are particular about. Now, the various processes that are involved, if you want to create a website, the first thing that you need to do is to register an appropriate website address. Now, we've started the class already. We've not talked about how to actually create a website. You've been using your text editors, you are using Trebedit, you are using Replit, you are using CodePen, but that's not just everything. That is not all you need to do for you to create a website. For you to actually get that website to be running on the web, like how other websites are, you need to you need to um you need to follow some processes. And the first process we have here is for you to register an appropriate web address. Now, this web address that we're talking about could be the domain, and your domain, the domain that you are using, or your web address is the same thing. If you've heard about domain before, please indicate in the comment section. I believe some of you must have heard about domain. When you say domain, and by the time you hear domain, you know that okay, you're talking about an area, something that belongs to you, a domain. Like say, oh, this is my domain, this is my area, this is my land. You know what I mean? So if you've heard about domain before, please, I want you to specify in the comment section. Let's know if you've heard of domain. Anyone have heard about domain before, or this is your first time hearing about domains? Okay, you don't understand. Somebody say it doesn't understand domain. Now let me think of a way to put it. Now see, we have, look at your website. If you're building a website, look at it as an estate. An estate have plenty houses. Okay, I'm explaining what domain is now. An estate have plenty houses, and Inside those houses, you have people living in it, people with their properties. Now, your estate is your hosting service. I hope you get this picture. Now, the estate is an hosting service. Then the houses are the domains. Now, if you enter an estate, you see different houses. If you enter a hosting service, you see different domains. I hope you are getting it. So a domain is like a house in an estate. Then inside that house, there are properties. So the properties now, in the case of we building a website, is our code, our HTML, our CSS, and our JavaScript code. So all these, our code will be contained in our domain. I hope you get it. So now domain is like a house in a estate. Let me read what I have here. Say choosing a domain name or web address, also known as a URL. We've heard of URL. That's that's for certain. We've heard of URL. Is the first step in creating a website. It must be both distinctive and relevant to your company's name, as well as simple for customers to recall. Okay, talking about this domain, let me quickly show you how domain look like. Let's check a site and see. Let's try to buy a domain. Let's try to buy a domain so that you know what I'm talking about. So let me say domain, I don't know, just domain, let me see. Okay, so now I want to search for a domain name. You can use any website that you want to use for buying your domain, but let's just search. Let me say educhamps.com. Let's see if it's available. It's taking time to load. Okay, what we should look at now, let's see. You see this place, we have .com. If you're using a .com, .com, .ng, all those ones, they are all domains. Okay, if you are busy right now, you could also watch the YouTube the live after now. Okay, so domains. So we could buy domain from this particular place. Now let's see, our domain is a letter or number and this. Okay, not used to all of this. Okay, so let's find a domain. So the thing is loading now. We're going to see if that domain is available. Okay, yeah, so we see educhamps.com is available for purchase. Now I hope you understand this step. Now the first thing you do is that you choose a domain name. Now I've chosen a domain name. I chose to use educhamps.com as my domain name. Then after that, you go and check if that domain is available. If the domain is available, it means no other person have used that domain, which means right now nobody have used educhamps.com as their domain name. and that means I can buy the domain. Then you see the cost of the domain. The domain costs $1,895. So when you're buying domain, you should put it in mind that domains, they are not free. They are not free. You will have to pay for them. You have to pay for the domain before you can use it. Domains are not free. You pay for domain, and the prices vary. There are different prices that you can get for different domain. Your domain is not just .com. We have other domains. You can get cheaper domains like .tech, .blog, .site, .website. You can get cheaper domains. So in your own free time, I would advise you to go to domain.com, search for a web address that you would like to use for your company. Maybe you already have a company. Let's say your company is air. You could say air.com, air.store. Yeah, there is a domain called .store. So you could also use .store. There are different extensions. So go on there and check for it and see the one that suits your business. Now, like I said before, let me go back to my explanation. I said your domain is a house in an estate. Now the estate is our hosting service. Now this will bring us to the next step in creating a website. Now after you have registered an appropriate web address, that means you've bought your domain, you need where to put that domain, which is a hosting service. So you now go and look for a hosting service. There are different hosting services. WordPress is a hosting service, and they also offer domain buying. So most times, if you want to build your own websites, you mostly get your domain from the hosting service that you are using, the server that you are using for that particular website, because most hosting services, they have domain, just as most estates have houses. I hope you understand. You could get house from anywhere, but if you go to an estate, you will also see houses there. You understand what I'm saying? So remember, your hosting service is like your estate, and the domains are like the houses in that estate. So after you've known the domain that you want to use, you go back and go and look for a hosting service you want to use to host that particular domain, that website. Your website cannot just come live by you just buying a domain. You need a hosting service. That is how you'll be able to host that website. So we're working on a blog project. So you could decide to come buy a cheap domain and register it with a hosting service and start hosting. By the time we want to host, we'll go more details. I'll give you guys more details on how you can go about this. But for now, we should just know that the first step is for us to register an appropriate website address, which is also our domain. While the next step is to register with a web hosting service, a website hosting service. Now, all of your website files and directories will be stored on this server. In many cases, the company you use to host your website is also the one you use to register your domain name with. Because most companies that have hosting services, they also have domains. That's how it is. Now, the next step is we creating, no, not even creating, is the design process. Now, in our former class, we did a little design class using figma. Now for you to start creating a website, you've gotten your domain, you have registered with a hosting service. The next thing is that you need to design the site. Not coding now. It's not time to code. It's not yet time to code. Just design it. You could decide to pick up a paper and a pen and draw some design. Draw what you want. Visualize it. But the most appropriate and recommended platform for designing websites is Figma. You can use Figma to design your website. If you check our videos, you see a video when we talk about how we can use Figma. So you could check those videos and see how you can use Figma. Figma is a platform for designing. And why is it important to design? As a web developer, if you already have a design, it makes work easier for you because you already know what you are working on or what you intend to build. Right now, I just told you people to build something. Okay, people already saw um, a particular, people saw some, the one that I made in the YouTube video, but let's say for example you did not see any guide, you did not see anything, but you just want to build something. You now have to go through the process of thinking of, oh, what would I do, what would I put here, how would I place this here, which element am I going to put here, okay, what should come next. That is, you see, all these questions can be avoided if you first design your website before you start coding. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is that when you want to start coding, when you want to start building your website, you should first of all design that website. Design the website before you start coding it. After designing the website, you will now start building the site. The process of building the site, that is the coding. That is when you start doing your HTML and CSS to achieve what you already have in the design interface. Then after you've, let's just go through the designing of the website. Next step is to think about the site aesthetics, consider the target demographic, as well as the website function. Now, we have different demographic. Demographic is like the people that you intend to reach with that website. The people you intend to reach. Are you trying to reach young people, or is older people that you want to reach? That is your demography. Now, in this case, you may decide that, okay, your demography is girls, your website is for ladies. Now, you will know that your design, you have more of pink, more of bright colors and all. Or if your website is for developers, you have more of dark colors because developers, they like dark themes. You understand? So you have to know your demographic, and you have to include that demography in your design. When you are designing, your demographic should be in mind as you are designing your sites. The next is that you build the site. The website must be built after the design stage. You may also do it yourself or pay a web developer. If you are not a web developer or you don't know how to design a website, you could pay somebody to design the website for you. It's not compulsory that you are the one to do the designing. It's not compulsory that you are the one to do the designing. Someone else could do the design for you. Someone else could do the design for you and you could code it, or someone else could do the coding for you and you could design it. So you could become a web designer or you could become a website developer, and you can also do both. Like, we have somebody in part of our team that actually does both. Bright Success is a web developer, and at the same time is also a web designer. So he can design what he wants to build in Figma, and then you start building it in his text editor. I'm sure that we're already familiar with text editor by now. Please, if you are still following, I want you to signify. If you have any question about what I've been saying so far, you can also ask your question. You see? Okay, I would wait for 2 minutes. If no question comes from you guys, then I'll continue. Okay, do you have a question, Udemy? Please, if you have a question, state it there. I'm not sure you'll be able to talk, so just write your question. I can see you raising your hand. Okay. Alright, after we've built our website, the next thing for us to do is to promote the site. That's why you see people running ads. You have to promote your site. Oh, the screen is tiny. You should display it as portraits. Try displaying as portraits so that it will be full for you. The way my screen is, try displaying portraits. Okay, as I was saying, after creating your website, after building the website, you've done the designing, you've done everything. The next thing that you need to do is to promote the site. You need to promote the site, that is run ads. You can pay to host your ads somewhere. You could use Facebook for your ads and all. Okay, that's all for creating a web presence. So as we, like I said before, if you want to create a website, a web presence, the first thing you need to do is to register an appropriate website address. You need to register an appropriate website address. Then after registering a website address, next thing that you do is you register with a website hosting service. Register with a website hosting service. Then register with a website hosting service. Design the site. Design site, you build the site, then you promote the site. Oh, I made a mistake there. But if you look at it, first of all, you register an appropriate website address, then you register with a website hosting service. After doing that, you build your site. You design your site first of all. Remember, the designing is like just the diagram aspects, just drawing. That is what the designing is about. So you design the website, then you build the website. The building process is the coding process. That is when you are actually writing your codes, your HTML, CSS. Then after that, you promote the website. You let people know about your website so that you can drive traffic. Now, traffic is how much people visit your website. Um, how much people visit your website, that is traffic. You could try doing your phone like this so that you can see everything clearly. So traffic is how much people visit your website. That is traffic. One last thing that we'll talk about now is content management systems. Now we have a plan on teaching you guys how you can use content management systems. Now content management system is a website creation and administration tool may create and edit online content using CMS. You don't need to be a programmer before you can use CMS, before you can use content management system. And one of the most common content management system that we have is WordPress. WordPress is one of the most common content management system that we have. You could use WordPress to create websites. WordPress has some templates that you could use. If you could edit the templates, do it the way you want and start using it. So WordPress is one way that you can actually start creating websites without writing any code. As a novice, you can create very stunning websites with WordPress and Wix. They are content management systems. There are other content management systems like Magento. You can use Magento as well for your creating websites without writing code. But the most popular one is WordPress. So you could, after the class, you could go on and try using WordPress to create something. Okay, so I said we would also be discussing our blog site projects. We have about 20 minutes left. We are going to be discussing our blog site project, how the class went. Now, when I checked what some of you submitted, some of you were submitting just normal links. I expected you to submit um, a link that can give me access to your code, but I could not access your code because you submitted a link to your outputs. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me open my Replit, then I'll show you where you are supposed to copy your link from. Okay, so this is Replit. So now you see this place, as you are here like this, you could come here, then you will see share. You click on share and then you copy the link. Now is this link that you are going to copy. Then after you copy that link, you could paste the link and you see the difference between that link and this particular link. Then so let me paste it in the group here. How to use Replit. Now this is how the link is going to look like. So by the time you view this particular link, you will see that it's going to take you to my code. You'll be able to view my code and you would be able to view the output. So that's why I said when you are submitting, you should submit this kind of link. Do not submit the one that I would just be seeing the output. Please, let's try to copy our link and let it be like this when we're submitting so that I can go through your code. You could have a correct output, but your code is not correct, and I will not be able to give you a good feedback when I'm not seeing your code. I'm just seeing your outputs. Okay, oh, this boy, you got the outputs, this and that. There are some things that you could just do and it will give you an output, even though you are not doing it well. But you have to do it well. You have to learn to do it well. So please, when we're submitting next time with Replit, let us submit it like this so that I'll be able to view your code. Okay, so we could click on it later and check to see how it is. All right, then another thing, I don't know if any of you had issues adding images to your Replit. If you want to add an image to your Replit, now this is just a little thing that I did here. If you want to add an image to your Replit, you come to this place, you click that place, then you say upload file. So we upload file. We want to upload file. You can select any file that you want to select. I could pick this one now and upload it. Now it is very easy. I've uploaded the file to my Replit. Then now that I've uploaded it, I would rename it so that it will not be too big for me. I can easily change, I can easily add it. So I will say um, cover cover.jpg. So I've renamed that particular file, and I'll be able to add it to my Replit very easily. So let us come here. I believe we remember how to add image to our repo. Now I want you guys to try it. Those of you still watching us, if try adding an image to your Replit. If you want to add an image, which tag am I going to use? If I want to add an image, which tag should I use if I want to add an image? Okay, somebody is asking which web hosting service they can use. For a start, you could try using WordPress hosting service. You could try using WordPress hosting service. Yeah, you could try using WordPress hosting service for a start. WordPress is also a hosting service. Then please go back to the feature to add image. Okay, yes, that's correct. Use the img tag to add an image. Now if you want to add the image, which attributes are you going to add to the image to show that, okay, to show that this is where the image is, to tell your browser where to get the image from that is going to display? Which attributes are you going to use? Is it the href or is it the src? Which of them? Okay, okay, that's correct. Use the src attribute. So now we'll go back to our Replits now. So we want to add that image that we've uploaded to our Replits. So say img, then src, and remember the name we gave to our image was cover.jpg. So that is the path for our image. Okay, so now what are the steps we used to add our image? The first step was for us to upload the image. After uploading the image, the next thing was for us to use the HTML tag, the img tag, for us to call that image to display in our HTML web page. So okay, so this is the image. Now this is the image I used just now, the cover.jpg. You see how the image is being displayed. It's being displayed very big, but we do not want it to be big. So for you to reduce the size of your image, what you would do is to reduce the size of your image, you say width. You set the width to you could decide to use any particular size, but for now we could just use 200 pixels. Let's set the width to 200 pixels. I'm sure we are already familiar with pixels. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, these attributes can help us reduce the size of our image. I must have used it in the blog site projects. So when we check now, we'll see our image would appear smaller, yeah, and more better. So we've successfully added an image in our Replit. Very easy. So first thing first, you have to upload the image to your Replit. After uploading the image, you can rename it to something that can help you easily can change the name to something that can help you easily get it right, something that can help you to easily call that image. Or You could use it like that if you can type the whole name for the image. But after that, you have to specify a new width for that image because the image may be too big. Okay. Okay, say you can't. Please, can you hear me now? Please let me know if you can hear me now. I don't know why you can't hear me. My mic is on. Yes, yeah. Okay, you said you have a problem starting a new repo. Okay, let's start a new repo together. Please, if you can hear me, signify. I don't. You let me say you could not hear me. Let me be sure that you people can hear me before I continue. Elias, can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Alright, let us try creating a new repo and see. Let's just go through the process. So, I want to go through the process of creating. So, if we want to create a new repo, we click this place, create new repo. So, now I want to create. After you click the create new repo, remember that I said you will click your templates. So the template that we're using is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So this is the template we're using. Then give it a title, new. Let's just say new. Then create the repo. Okay. Okay. So this is it. This is what you should be seeing. From here, everything is editable. You can delete everything that is here and start doing something else. Was this the steps that you followed when creating your repo? You could decide to put something here, say h1, then so this is the repo we created and it's working very well. Do you have any question concerning that repo? Are you clear on how to create a repo now? Was I able to answer your question, Elias? Okay, I believe you understand how to create a new repo now. So I'll quickly go through a quick review of what we did today. Today we learned how to create a online presence, how to create a website, and I listed the steps that you need to take, and those steps involve website address, and the website address is your domain name. I described the domain name to be something like a house, and that house is in a bigger community, like a bigger environment. So the house could be in a estate, and that estate is now our hosting service, and we need to with the hosting service for us to be able to use that house. You understand? So for us to be able to use our domain, we need to register with a hosting service where all the files concerning our web development can be where all our files concerning the website that we're building can be put in. You understand? Then after you've gotten your website hosting service, you need to design the sites. That is like draw how you want it to be, or just draw something. Basically, draw something, pen something, design something like how where you want your elements to be, the way you want your website to be. Just design it without coding. The next step is for you to build the site. At this point, you are actually doing the coding. You're actually coding the website. You're actually using your HTML, your CSS, and your JavaScript. You are coding and using any other backend languages that you want to add to your websites. Then next is to promote your site, because you want to drive traffic. You want people to come to your site, people to visit your site. So you have to promote that site. You understand? Then I also talked about content management systems. I say content management systems can be used to build a website without having any knowledge about coding. And a very popular one is WordPress. So you could use WordPress to code without having knowledge about coding. Did I say code? You could use WordPress to create a website without having knowledge about coding. So I'm going to give that as a challenge to you guys. WordPress is a content management system, and you can use it to create websites without coding. Now, I believe most of you are beginners. Now, I want people to create very beautiful websites using WordPress. Just search for WordPress, create an account in WordPress, and then try to create a website using WordPress. And don't pay for a domain, use a free domain. WordPress gives you a free domain. So WordPress is a hosting service, they also have free domains. So you can use WordPress free domain for this task. So you create an account in WordPress, you register a free WordPress domain, and then you choose a template, edit the template, make it to be personal to you. You understand? Create it, let it be your own website. So that's the task for this. That's the task that I'm giving you guys now. Open a WordPress account and create a beautiful website using WordPress. Okay, I expect you guys to submit this particular assignment before on Monday, or on Monday you could submit the assignments. But for now, that's all for our live class. If you have any question, please drop the question now. If there is no question, I'll end the live in 2 minutes. No question. Okay, which of the task are you talking? The task in the form that I gave you guys, or the WordPress task? Okay, for the WordPress task, you could send it to the Edu-Champs business line. Just once you are done creating your WordPress site, just send me the link directly. Send it to Edu-Champs WhatsApp number. Then we'll view it from there and give you feedback. Okay, Elias, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Udemy. Thank you for joining this live. Tobin, thank you for joining. Mumbarak, thank you for joining. Freedom, thank you for joining. Every other person who joined us that didn't comment, thank you for joining. And you that will be watching the live after the class, thank you for joining as well. Okay, I believe now we have a better understanding on how we can create websites and how we can work around with our projects, how to add images. Images used to be very difficult or confusing for learners when they just start. That's why I actually explained it. I believe now we can add our own image to our web pages. Thank you all for joining us. Okay, so this is the end of our live class today. Till we meet another time. Somebody is just joining us. All right, you could actually replay and go through the part that you really need for today. Thank you.